In 1971, a man walked into a Los Angeles bank, handed the teller a note, and whispered, "This is a kidnapping." The note was signed by a 6-year-old girl. And that's only number 8 on this list. Stay until number 1. Because it's the one that will actually mess with your head. These are the top 10 true crime cases, so bizarre they sound like fiction. But they're terrifyingly real. Number 10. The disappearance of the Beaumont children. Coming in at number 10. The 1966 disappearance of 3 Australian siblings, Jane, Arna, and Grant Beaumont, while playing at a beach near their home. The kids vanished without a trace, leaving behind their towels and a half-eaten meat pie. Witnesses reported seeing the children with a tall, thin man in a dark suit, but the case went cold for decades. In 2013, a retired detective claimed the man was a known pedophile who later died in prison. But no bodies were ever found. But that's nothing compared to what's coming next. Number 9. The Villisca Axe Murders. Coming in at number 9. The 1912 Villisca Axe Murders in Iowa, where an entire family, 6 children and their parents, were bludgeoned to death with an axe while they slept. The killer struck again the same night, murdering 2 more children in a neighboring house. Despite multiple confessions and suspects, including a traveling preacher, no one was ever convicted. The case remains one of America's most infamous unsolved crimes. And number 8 might actually be worse. Number 8. The Zodiac Killer's unsentenced victim. Coming in at number 8. The 1969 Zodiac Killer case, where a young couple, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were shot dead on their first date in Vallejo, California. The killer left cryptic ciphers for police. But one victim survived long enough to describe him, only for the Zodiac to vanish without a trace. Decades later, a retired detective claimed the Zodiac was a man who worked at a military base and had access to explosives. But the real horror? The Zodiac's final victim may still be alive today. But that's nothing compared to what's coming next. Number 7. The Toy Box Killer's Secret Life. Coming in at number 7. The case of David Parker Ray, the toy box killer, who kidnapped women in New Mexico and tortured them in a soundproof trailer he called the Toy Box. Ray recorded his victims' screams and even invited friends to participate. One survivor, Cynthia Vigil, escaped after 22 hours and led police to Ray's lair, where they found tools of torture and a guestbook signed by over 50 people. Ray was sentenced to 224 years in prison. But some believe he had accomplices who were never caught. And number 6 might actually be worse. Number 6. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. Coming in at number 6. The 1959 Dyatlov Pass Incident, where 9 experienced hikers in Russia's Ural Mountains died under mysterious circumstances. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside, as if they fled in terror. Some victims had severe internal injuries, like crushed ribs, but no external wounds. One woman was missing her tongue and eyes. Theories range from avalanches to secret military experiments. But the case was classified by the Soviet government for decades. You're already halfway through. If this list is blowing your mind, hit subscribe so you never miss a video. You're already halfway through. If this list is blowing your mind, hit subscribe so you never miss a video. Number 5. The Monster of Florence's Killing Spree. Coming in at number 5. The Monster of Florence. A serial killer who murdered at least 8 couples in Italy between 1968 and 1985. The killer would shoot the men first, then mutilate the women's bodies with surgical precision. In 2001, a man named Pietro Pacciani was convicted, but the case was overturned on appeal. Some believe the killer was part of a secret society linked to the Vatican. The monster's identity remains unknown to this day. But that's nothing compared to what's coming next. Number 4. The Somerton Man's Mystery. Coming in at number 4. The 1948 Somerton Man case, where an unidentified man was found dead on an Australian beach with no ID, no wallet, and a cigarette still tucked behind his ear. His cause of death was unknown, but toxicology reports later revealed he had ingested a rare poison. The most chilling detail? A scrap of paper in his pocket read, Taman Shud, Persian for, ended, torn from a book of poetry. The case remains unsolved to this day. And number 3 might actually be worse. Number 3. The Long Island Serial Killer's Unmarked Graves. Coming in at number 3. The Long Island Serial Killer, who murdered at least 10 to 16 women between 1996 and 2010, dumping their bodies along Ocean Parkway. The killer left the victims' heads and hands severed, likely to prevent identification. In 2011, a police officer was arrested but released due to lack of evidence. The case remains one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries. But that's nothing compared to what's coming next. Number 2. The Hinterkaifeck Murders. Coming in at number 2. The 1922 Hinterkaifeck murders in Germany, where 6 people, including 4 children, were hacked to death with a farming tool in their isolated farmhouse. The killer had been living in their attic for months before the attack, leaving behind strange footprints in the snow and a newspaper clipping about a serial killer. The case was never solved, and the farmhouse was burned to the ground to erase the evidence. And number 1 might actually be worse. Number 1. The West Memphis 3 and the Satanic Panic. And finally, the moment you've been waiting for. Number 1. In 1993, 3 8-year-old boys, Steve Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers, were found brutally murdered in West Memphis, Arkansas. Their bodies were hogtied, and one victim had his genitals mutilated. Police arrested 3 teenagers, Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly, after Miskelly confessed under intense interrogation. The case became a media circus fueled by the Satanic Panic of the 90s, with prosecutors painting Eccles as a devil worshipper, despite no physical evidence linking them to the crime. The West Memphis 3 were sentenced to life in prison. It took 18 years for DNA evidence to finally clear them. But the real killer was never found. The case remains a chilling example of how fear and prejudice can destroy lives. Comment below which one got to you the most. Subscribe if you want more true crime mysteries that will haunt your dreams next time. We're looking at something even darker. Cases so twisted, even the detectives refuse to talk about them. See you then.